Listen closely the next time you open a bottle of water. That sharp, cracking sound as the plastic seal breaks is one of the most successful pieces of marketing ever engineered. It's not just a sound, it's a promise. It's the audible confirmation of purity, safety, and pristine quality. We see the clear, transparent bottle, the label depicting snow-capped mountains or untouched Arctic springs, and we feel a sense of reassurance. In a world fraught with invisible contaminants and environmental anxieties, bottled water has become the ultimate symbol of a conscious, healthy choice. It represents a small, personal act of control, a decision to choose purity over uncertainty. We willingly pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of times more for this bottled reassurance than for the water that flows freely from our taps. But what is this profound sense of security actually based on? Is it rooted in verifiable fact, or in a brilliantly constructed marketing narrative? We have been conditioned to see the bottle itself as a shield, a vessel of purity protecting its precious contents from a tainted world. What if that's a lie? What if the shield itself is the source of a far more insidious danger? This is the story of how our safest choice became a Trojan horse, and how the water we pay a premium for might be silently compromising our health and our planet in ways that tap water never could. The primary and most alarming danger of bottled water comes not from the water itself, but from the bottle it is imprisoned in. The vast majority of water bottles are made from a plastic called polyethylene terephthalate, or PET. For decades, we have operated under the assumption that this material is inert, a stable and passive container. Recent scientific breakthroughs have revealed this to be a catastrophic miscalculation. The plastic bottle is, in fact, an active participant, constantly shedding microscopic particles into the very water it is meant to protect. Groundbreaking research has shown that a single liter of bottled water can contain, on average, 250,000 invisible pieces of microplastics and even smaller, more perilous nanoplastics. These particles are sheared off during the manufacturing process, they are shaken loose during transportation, and they are released by exposure to sunlight and heat. Even the simple act of twisting the cap to break that seal of purity generates a fresh shower of these plastic fragments into your water. The biological consequences of ingesting this plastic storm are the subject of urgent scientific inquiry. We now know that these particles are not just passing harmlessly through our digestive systems. Nanoplastics are small enough to cross the intestinal wall, enter the bloodstream, and travel throughout the body. They have been found embedded in our lungs, our livers, our blood, and even our brains. They have been discovered in the placentas of pregnant women, meaning this exposure begins before we are even born. While the full, long-term impact of having a persistent, low-grade plastic infusion into our tissues is still being determined, the very concept is deeply unsettling. We are running a global, uncontrolled experiment on human health, with ourselves as the test subjects. This microscopic assault is compounded by a chemical one. PET plastic is not just pure polymer. It contains a cocktail of chemical additives. And these chemicals can leach. Antimony, a catalyst used in the production of PET, is a heavy metal with known toxicity that consistently leaches into the water over time. Other additives, such as phthalates, used to make plastics more flexible, are notorious endocrine disruptors, interfering with the body's sensitive hormonal signaling. This leaching process is not static. It is dramatically accelerated by heat and time. That bottle of water you left in a hot car is no longer just warm water. It is a chemical soup, a solution steeped in compounds that have no place in the human body. The bottle is not a sanctuary. It is a chemical-releasing contaminant. While we have been trained to view bottled water as the gold standard of purity, a side-by-side comparison with its humble municipal cousin reveals a startling regulatory paradox. In most developed nations, tap water is a marvel of public health engineering, subject to incredibly rigorous oversight. In the United States, for example, tap water is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, under the Safe Drinking Water Act. This mandates frequent, often daily, testing for a long list of potential contaminants, including dangerous bacteria like E. coli, viruses, protozoa, and dozens of chemical pollutants. Water treatment facilities are required by law to maintain specific levels of disinfectants, like chlorine, to ensure the water remains safe as it travels through miles of pipes to your home. Crucially, this system is built on a foundation of transparency. Public water utilities are legally required to provide their customers with an annual consumer confidence report, detailing exactly what is in their water and whether any contaminants have exceeded legal limits. You have the right to know the precise quality of the water flowing from your faucet. It is a system built on accountability. Now, consider bottled water. It is not regulated as water, but as a food product, placing it under the jurisdiction of the Food and Drug Administration, FDA. The FDA's rules for bottled water are shockingly less stringent than the EPA's rules for tap. Their requirements for testing are less frequent, and the list of contaminants they must screen for is shorter. They are not required to test for E. coli, nor are they required to provide their customers with quality reports. Accountability is replaced by marketing slogans. This regulatory gap hides an even more cynical truth about the source of the product itself. Many consumers imagine their bottled water originates from a pristine mountain glacier or a secluded aquifer. The reality is far more mundane. An estimated 25 to 45% of all bottled water sold in the U.S.in, including from major, well-known brands, simply municipal tap water. It is the same water that flows to your home, run through an additional filtration process, sometimes called reverse osmosis or purification, and then packaged in a plastic bottle that is itself a source of contamination. Consumers are, in effect, paying a staggering premium to buy back a product they already have access to, all for the illusion of safety provided by a plastic vessel that is actively making the product less safe. The definition of danger must extend beyond our individual bodies and encompass the health of the planet that sustains us. When viewed through this wider lens, the convenience of bottled water reveals itself as a full-blown environmental catastrophe, posing a long-term threat that dwarfs the immediate risks of tap water. The very existence of a single-use plastic water bottle is an act of profound inefficiency and waste. Its life begins with the extraction of fossil fuels. The PET plastic used for bottles is derived from petroleum, and the energy-intensive process of manufacturing, molding, and preparing these billions of bottles consumes millions of barrels of oil each year. Then comes the transportation. Water is heavy, and shipping this weight across countries and even continents by truck, train, and boat generates a massive carbon footprint, contributing directly to the climate change that threatens global water sources in the first place. Contrast this with the quiet, incredible efficiency of a municipal water system, which delivers the product directly to the point of use through a network of pipes with a fraction of the energy cost. The bottle's end of life is even more tragic. The comforting recycling symbol on the label belies a harsh reality. Globally, the vast majority of plastic bottles are not recycled. In the United States, the recycling rate for PET bottles hovers at a dismal 30%. The remaining 70%, billions upon billions of bottles each year, are destined for landfills, where they will sit for up to 500 years, slowly leaching chemicals into the soil and groundwater. Worse, a significant portion ends up as litter, clogging our rivers and eventually flowing into the ocean. There, they join the colossal garbage patches, choke marine wildlife, and most ominously, break down under the sun and waves. They do not disappear. They simply become smaller, disintegrating into the same microplastic particles that we fear finding in the bottle itself. The bottled water industry is not just selling us microplastics, it is blanketing the entire planet with them, creating a toxic legacy that will plague ecosystems for centuries to come. The personal health risk in your hand is merely a microcosm of the planetary health crisis it represents.